everyone. I am joined today on this edition of the Business of People with two people you may be familiar with given their great online presence, but Tracy Montour, Director of Marketing at Arbeit Software, and AP, Director of Human Resources at Arbeit. And I was really excited to talk to you both today, despite not actually knowing you. I feel like I kind of know you because you have such a wonderful online presence. And I was particularly excited about the timing of this because AP, you were featured in today's Buffalo Business First article about how you've created a more diverse workforce. And it is just timely and appropriate given the theme of this conversation series about how companies are taking care of their people, optimizing their people, and ensuring that workforces are people first. And so I thought today's article was particularly timely. So if you could just give us a sense of that article and what you've done at Arbeit to create a truly diverse, inclusive work environment.
Sure. So one of the things we kind of started to focus on was realizing where we could do better. I have been with the company for 3 years, and 3 years ago we realized that there was a little bit of a lack of diversity. One of them being with our female population. I was the second woman to work at Arbeit. So we implemented a system. It was a platform that kind of removed the biases associated with hiring. Mm-hmm. And that definitely helped us increase the female population at Arbeit. Right now, I think there's probably, 8 of us at Arbeit, women employees. Mm-hmm. And then I think another thing that is important was recognizing the cultural differences mm-hmm. between our offices. We have one office in Brazil, and then we have one office in the US. So there's going to be some differences in cultural there, and recognizing those differences and then embracing them and celebrating them too. So we have different, celebrations, and we'll do different activities between the two offices. If it's just, talking about a holiday in Brazil that, the U.S. office might not they might not know, or I think recently we did, it was kind of a fun activity where we swapped food, like common snack items between offices. Yeah. So we could try some of the Brazil snacks and they could try some of ours. And it was just a fun little thing that we did.
Yeah, that's great. And I read in the article today that one of I guess not structural, but ways that you've tried to truly eliminate biases in hiring or expand your candidate pool beyond maybe a more traditional candidate pool is you've realized that maybe 4-year degrees don't always equate to the perfect profile. Right. And I really think this whole crisis has really, I think, forced companies to reevaluate just these antiquated rules that maybe they had in place that they just don't think about, that's just there because it's been there. And I believe that, in some positions, experience, personality may supersede the need to have a degree. But I really respect and applaud the fact that you've put that into action. Have you noticed that's helped expand the candidates that you have to choose from, given that you flex on maybe that requirement?
Yeah, definitely. It definitely widens the pool. I think that's something that's always been important to me. I don't have a higher education. I just have a high school degree, and I've gotten, I think, pretty far with that. Yeah. And I think more importantly than a higher education is a person's soft skills. Are they a hard worker? How do they interact with their colleagues or their clients? Just different things like that just show how strong of an employee that they can be.
That's great. Tracy, I want to shift to you because I think you have such an admirable brand image. You're so authentic, at least in my opinion. You come off as truly authentic, someone that's just willing to take risks and try and put yourself out there. And I think that translates to the brand of Arbeit being one that seems like a culture that allows you to take risks and fail and try new things. And in today's world, when I think first impressions are now gleaned exclusively by online presence. I'm wondering how you feel like that's impacted the culture there or impacted the brand image of Arbeit in the public.
Yeah, definitely. And I obviously that's so nice of you to say that I come off as authentic. The reason that I like working at Arbeit is that, you know, we really embrace everyone being their true self. And I've been in the position at different roles, or, you know, even in my personal life, where I've tried to be somebody else and it just doesn't work for me. I can't do it. Anybody who knows me knows, like, you know, for better or for worse, I am who I am. Yeah. But I think that, like, the best work comes when people are able to truly be themselves and not be afraid of offending somebody by, you know, speaking up. Obviously, we want everyone to respect each other, but by speaking up or sharing their ideas, or even like giving feedback, like critical feedback to people who are, you know, their managers, or even as far as like the CEO. So I think that that's super important. And like I said, that's one of the reasons I love working at Arbeit. And I think that we encourage everybody to just be themselves. You know, we hired them for a reason, and they can do and say whatever they want online because we trust them. And we really encourage people to, you know, showcase who they are and how smart they are and how talented they are online, on LinkedIn especially. But, you know, we think that it not only translates to people wanting to work with us, you know, AP can, testify that, like, people message us all the time on LinkedIn asking, you know, if we have any roles open and things like that. So it's definitely working. But also, like, our clients and prospective clients like it because they feel like they know who we are and we're, like, doing things for the right reasons, and we're not just, like, focused on selling to them. You know, like, we develop really close relationships, even with people in the industry that don't buy from us. Like, we'll message them on LinkedIn just to see how they are and things like that. And I feel like that just helps people, you know, understand, like, that we're in this for the right reasons and we're not just, you know, gonna get your money and then leave you alone.
Yeah, I do feel like that must translate well, and it sounds like it's translating well into being able to engage with a new customer base, and then particularly being able to engage with top talent. One of the things that we all know was happening before we all went remote and had to hire and attract talent in a more virtual way was that candidates and prospective employees were checking reviews online. And the first thing they're doing is going onto a company's website and LinkedIn and social media. And you can tell, I think candidates can see through what is just an attempt to look like maybe something they're not versus truly what is the actual real culture, environment, philosophy of an organization. So it is a testament to the team that you've built, because it feels genuine, and it feels true when you explore Arbeit. And the great thing is you have good reviews. Like, that all translates really into a positive employee experience, which leads to great things. So I'm glad to hear you say that too, Tracy. So one of the things I wanted to ask next is more practically, because in the great thing about Arbeit is that you are still hiring through this, and many companies aren't in that position, which is great. And I'm curious, because I haven't talked to a number of employers that are hiring that seem like to your degree recently. How has that been, just doing the virtual interviews? I assume that because you have an office in another country, you're kind of used to and maybe a little bit more advanced in the whole arena of virtual interviewing, virtual onboarding. But AP, can you talk about how maybe you've improved or optimized some of your processes to really ensure that it's been a smooth, seamless integration into the company?
Yeah, so I think we did have a leg up there because we were a little bit more familiar with the process, just having to do it remotely already because of the international hiring. But I mean, I think as far as the recruitment piece goes, aside from the interview piece being virtual when we're hiring locally, I don't think much else has really changed for us. We do use the platform that I talked about previously, and that has helped a lot with the vetting process, and that's how we initially start the process is we use this platform, and that is our first step. And then our second step, which would be the traditional interview, which I think most companies would do that face-to-face. that's where we have been using that as our virtual interview piece. So that's where the change might have happened. But it's been going really smoothly.
That's great. That's great. Tracy, I'll ask you, what is one of the things maybe that you adopted as a result of everything that's happened that you continue to perpetuate and do well beyond whatever happens, in the future?
Yeah, so one thing, we've been doing in the marketing department specifically is, we've always worked very closely together. There's only 3 of us, so pretty much have to be in constant communication to make sure everything gets done. But I know our development team, I noticed they would meet every morning, and we kind of adopted that ourselves. We just have a quick meeting, 30 minutes in the morning, and we just, we talk about work, but we also talk about non-work related things, because I know that's one thing a lot of people miss, like kind of like that water cooler talk, or just developing personal relationships. And so that's kind of how we start our day. We'll do it right at the start of the day and just talk, like, what did you watch on TV last night? What do we have to do today? And just catch up like that. And it's been really helpful, just to keep us all feeling like we're on the team together. And it also helps, like, right, when you're just like emailing people or slacking people, like, it really becomes like a transactional relationship. Like, I just feel like, I keep asking my team for things, and like they're doing it and everything's getting done, but it just feels weird and like formal. And we're definitely not like that. And I'm not like that. Like, right, I don't want people on my team to just feel like they're fulfilling tasks. So I think it really helps with that.
That's great. And AP, anything from like a training perspective that you feel like you've been able to learn from this? Sometimes, like Tracy said, you kind of miss the water cooler talk and that natural, organic, like listening to how someone else on your team approaches the situation. Anything that you've done differently from like a training perspective, just to make sure maybe your newer team members or your younger team members still get that, that sort of mentorship, leadership, and coaching?
Yeah, I think communication has been the most important thing that we've had to keep in mind. We actually just had an onboard 2 weeks ago. Her name is actually Ellie too, which is funny. But
I actually know her, and she's great.
Oh, really?
I know her sister. She worked at the daycare that my kids went to, and if Allie is anything like her sister, like you have landed a good one.
Yeah, she's been amazing so far.
Yeah.
So her onboarding has been going really smoothly. And I feel like communication, like Tracy said, I feel like from being in software, we adopted a similar system to what our development team uses, which is their daily stand-ups. Tracy started using that with her marketing team. I adapted that as well for our admin team. So it's just, we do a 15-minute check-in. What did you do yesterday? What are you going to do today? And then just to give them kind of a little time to, if there's any boundaries that they have, that they need help with, they have that opportunity that they know that we're available to talk about it. So as far as training goes, I think that's a good time that they can ask for help. Obviously, we're all on Slack. We're very heavy Slack users, so that communication channel is always open as well.
Yeah, that's great. No, we are too, but I'm always curious to hear what other organizations are doing. We have our CEO, Kevin Curl. It comes from an engineering background, so he believes heavily in that daily stand-up. And not that we were resistant, but we're all like, that only applies to engineering. But it's great to hear that other companies are using it as more of a cultural just reconnect, and also just to reset and make sure everyone's on the same page. Because at times I know you can feel a little lost or maybe lonely or misguided when you're sitting at home all day. So it's good to have those check-ins. So, well, I appreciate the time with both of you. Truly, I commend you on, like I said, just the image that you've created in terms of this really inclusive, welcoming, collaborative culture. And I think a lot can be learned from how you guys are presenting Arbeit, and Tracy, what you're doing from a marketing perspective, and AP, what you're doing really tangibly to ensure that your team is as diverse as they can be, because we all know diverse teams lead to much just more productive and successful teams. So you just can't say that enough. So I can't thank you both enough. I really appreciate it. And hopefully when we all feel comfortable, perhaps we could meet in person at some point. But in the meantime, good luck with everything. We'll be supporting you, and we'll talk soon.